Shouts out Big Steve.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Big Brand MMA podcast. I'm your host, like Steve. Pay-per-view episode, Adesanya versus Strickland. I was actually going to go to this card and, looking at some of these fights that we're going to talk about and the main event, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't see myself ending the night with, potentially easy jabbing and leg kicking Strickland, who was just going to parry everything for 5 rounds. But yeah, it's a card. It's a card. I will go straight into the overview of last week, and then I'll bring my special guest on. So, UFC Paris. First fight, Calicante's fan. Absolute pass. Props to anyone hitting the over there. Farid, Rodriguez. Really good that I passed on Rodriguez. I was contemplating that very nice price. So I got saved there. That's a win in itself. Cornell, Edwards, what is there to say? Pass all around. Angelusa McKee, my first bet. I think it was one of the best bets as well. Lusa kind of dominated, and then at the same time, McKee kind of had plenty of ways to win a 29-28. Props to Lusa coming out strong in the first. As soon as McKee kind of warmed up into the round, it was a competitive round 1, but obviously Lusa had big moments in round 1 and 2, and yeah, good on him. He was the more athletic guy. It's why McKee was the dog. But yeah, close fight in a weird way. Lapilus, Lauren, however you pronounce his name, how pronouncing this guy's name. I was passing this fight, had a lot of questions about Lauren, and after round 1, he kind of answered it, that he had a good chin and he could get takedowns. And I live bet him after round 1. It was clear. It was a clear round 2 for him. It's a shame that he couldn't get a takedown in the third, but yeah. Had to throw away half a unit there, but it was competitive. Nothing on the Morgan Charrier. Threw away a quarter unit on Giannis. The dude had no chance. Just fought like he wanted to lose. The best bet, Bogdan, under 1.5 hit. That should have been a smash. Nothing on Moises, Benoit. I waited for a live bet on Benoit, and just Moises didn't do anything to give the live bet. Played some rows last minute. The scorecard's no decision. I thought, if she gets one of those crazy upset KOs. I thought she was live for a head kick, but Pat Barry told her not to throw any head kicks, so there you go. What can you do? And then I kind of chased with Gane with a bunch of under 4.5s. I put as much as I could on my thing for like $500 profit. And then I live bet Gane like a square. I put like $1,000 on $1.20 to win another $200. So I lost $190. I wish I played a Gane money line. Some people in the Discord had the Gane KO. That was great. That was his path. I wish I played those, but I didn't. So I lost $100. It is what it is, Woke up 3 a.m. for that rubbish card. And we're here for another rubbish card. But my boy Chad is going to make it much more interesting. How are you, mate?
Hey, I'm good, Steve. How you doing?
Not too bad, man. About time you come back. This is
what a card to come back to.
Per your request, pay-per-view. You're a pay-per-view guest, so here we are, son.
Yeah.
We don't make the pay-per-view cards, Sean Shelby and Hunter.
Yeah, this is more of a fight night card, but whatever.
Oh, Shelter wants to drink in episode 2.0. The only thing I'm drinking, mate, is my coffee because, not feeling it.
Next time.
Yeah. It has to be a special card. Akai Field Mountaineer, Sober Chad, a rare sighting. Yeah, I guess it is. Alrighty. Shall we get into it? The first 4 fights are just weird as all hell, and I can't wait to get through them. Kevin Jousset versus Kiefer Crosbie. This is a full-on regional low-level fight. Belongs in Bellator at best. I see some boys, smashing Jousset. He was a pick'em, now he's a favorite. I guess I get it. Kiefer doesn't really inspire any confidence, especially if he goes to decision. He's got a really low decision equity. He's kind of like a brawler. He can grapple, has some back takes. But yeah, just the people that he's gone to decision with are not good fighters, and he just hasn't looked good. And Kevin Jousset on the other side as well, he's gone to split decisions with a 46-year-old dude, 40-something-year-old dude in Hex. And Hex, man, Hex, it's a Melbourne promotion where I'm from. It's just the bottom of the barrel Australian stuff. It's not bottom of the barrel, I'm lying. It's one of the better ones, but it's just not good, man. It's not good. Eternal MMA is much higher. Yeah, and he's just, he's getting rocked in a lot of his fights. He's like a tall, upright, tall man defense, judoka, and he just spams calf kicks. And I guess his decision equity is better because he's got good cardio. He comes on strong. The grappling comes on better later on in the fight. But he lost the fight to this Caleb Rideout guy who, I don't even know, he's not on Contender Series or anything. He's still fighting in Eternal MMA. Barely won a split to that 40-year-old guy and beat Kit Campbell with ground and pound late, but he got hurt early. So I can't play the juice on him now because he's just small margins and he's hittable. And Kiefer Crosbie, he just comes out and swings. But after that, I don't know how this fight's going to look. It's a shit show, man. I don't like overs. I don't like unders. It's a pass all the way around. Maybe a live bet on Jousset. I know you were confident that there was going to be some value on this fight. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I do get why people are playing or were playing Jousset at like minus 130-ish. He's a fair bit more juice now, so definitely can't play his money line. Yeah, what else is there to say about this fight? I wasn't able to see the Kit Campbell fight. I was able to see highlights, but yeah, I saw him get rocked and recover and whatnot. As far as Kiefer Crosbie goes, he's kind of chinny. He'll probably brawl. I think he has a puncher's chance early. He can crack a little bit. Kevin gets rocked often. But I think Kevin pulls away down the stretch in most iterations. But do I want to bet on that? Probably not. Like you said, the live bet might be good. If he gets hurt, the line goes crazy, and then you think he's recovered. Maybe you can take a stab. But I don't know, man. Even like the over 1.5, I think. Well, first of all, it's juice, but I think Crosbie can put him out of there in one. But I also think Kevin can finish him late. If he gets on top, he does throw a lot of ground and pound. Like he's pretty relentless with that. So yeah, all around pass. Kudos to anyone that's confident here. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I know one guy that's confident, and he's from New Zealand. So is there any favoritism there? But
maybe it's inside info.
Ooh, maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't like inside info. Yeah, pass all the way around, man. What's Kiefer round 1? 750. Yeah.
What's KO1? Plus 1,000.
Worth a poke.
That's not bad, actually.
It's literally his path, man. I don't see how he almost knocked out Charlie Leary.
Yeah.
Obviously these guys are all hittable and probably a little bit more chinnier than Kevin Jousset, but yeah, I mean the guy gets hurt a lot. It is what it is,
Maybe we see an early stoppage. We've seen a few of those.
Yeah. I mean it's fucking Australia. Jesus, they can't wait for the refs. Oh my god. Yeah. Why not? Let's move on. But not before we answer Steve Gregory's question. What brand of hand cream does Chad use? His wife wants to know.
All natural.
Nice. Probably Jizz. Jizz is a great one.
That's yeah.
I don't know. Someone told me. Alrighty. Oh no, Jesus.
I produce a lot if your wife needs a source, Steve.
She's not my wife yet, and no, she doesn't.
Not you. I was talking to Mr. Gregory.
Oh, right. Well, she might be down. You never know. Alrighty, so it's another bum fighter from New Zealand that's been juiced against another bum fighter, Gabriel Miranda. Yeah, no way in hell I can play Jung at this price. I'm a classical Jung fader and hater. Seems to be the same people that play them against Blake Builder are playing him here again. I get it. He's good at, get-ups, and I was going to say takedown defense, but I'm seeing more issues with his takedown defense recently against Omar Morales and Blake Builder. Now, I played Blake Builder there as a dog just because I thought he would do more. Didn't even rely on his wrestling because it's a bit average. And he took down Shane Young in round 1, and now it's like I definitely think Gabriel Miranda can take him down. I mean, Gabriel Miranda, say what you will about him, his regional tape is pretty dreadful, but he took down Benoit Saint-Denis twice. That's more than Thiago Moises can say. Like, he fought for anyone's money more than Thiago Moises did. That's for sure. So he's a scrapper. He's definitely a dog or pass for the fact that he will do more than Shane Young before he gasses and before he starts flopping to his back and pulling guard, etc. I know someone, Lou Betcher, I'm sure he'll pop in here at some point. He actually sees a path for Miranda via decision. And I can see it too, just because Shane Young is so negative. He's so negative. Like, Omar Morales, we've seen Omar Morales, get cut now. He used to be my darling, but he's just these last few fights, even against Shane Young, he did nothing. He did nothing, and he 30-27 Shane Young. And same as Blake Builder. People saying, at Pick'em, Blake Builder's a fraud. This is in Australia. And Shane Young was happy to lose that fight 30-27 in his home yard against Blake Builder. So this is in his home. It's not in his home yard. He's a New Zealander. Maybe that's why judges don't care about him. But, what's he going to do here? He has to step on it, man. Otherwise, Miranda is definitely going to out-hustle him in the first round. The issue with Miranda is he's hittable. Shane Young does have some nice 1-2s and power. If he's super aggressive, it's probably going to put himself in the fire for Shane Young to kind of counter him and whatnot. But if he gets an early takedown, you're looking at Shane Young going to dog money. And then it's like if Miranda can squeeze out one more round due to Young being super negative, then it's, yeah. But it's definitely not playing Shane Young at this price. I'm contemplating Miranda, but it's like you look at his tape and he just falls apart. And never been submitted. Shane Young's never been submitted. I actually respect his anti-grappling game. I did look into it deep for the Builder fight. You see Volkanovski struggle with it early. But then again, other guys like Morales and Builder are getting easier takedowns. He gives up his back to stand up as well. And Morales, a black belt, couldn't really jump on his back, neither could Builder. So, yeah, I feel like there's some early success from Miranda. And then from then on out, it's like, do you want to lie bet Young? Do you want to take a poke on Miranda round one sub to be the first guy to do it? But, yeah, it's just another pass fight for me personally.
Yeah, many of the same thoughts. Shane Young is probably one of the least trustworthy people on the roster. So to play him, at Juice is distasteful to me. Miranda, I think, is terrible. I think, I mean, maybe sub 1 or bust, but it's not even like a great price. You get plus 550, and I don't really think he's doing it. And like you said, he probably will fall apart. The only plays that I could maybe get behind that I've been looking at and waiting for other books, maybe like Shane Young, KO 2-3, but it wouldn't be a big play, obviously. I don't trust him to do anything, but Miranda is so live to just totally fall apart. I think that would be one way I would play it pre. But other than that, I don't see a great angle of attack,
Yeah, don't disagree, man. I tried. This feels like a fight where you can't have a play, But it's just like relying on Shane Young to finish someone when all he does is plod forward and throw a 1-2.
Well, that's part of why I haven't locked it in is because if he's fighting like that, you're going to be very angry round 2-3 watching him just not finish a guy that's ready to give up, Yeah.
And it's going to be flopping to the back like that Miranda fight where he lost to Ashkan Magomedov. Like, he got dropped so many times, like in round 1, rounds 2, and he just kept coming. Like, he had no quit in him. And that was actually, Magomed sitting down on his punches and wanting to kill the dude. And it's just, weaseling down to the ground, dropping guard. And it's like, I can see this here, man. And Young will mix in takedowns just to make sure the finish doesn't happen. I can just see it. Just, consolidate the decision. Yeah. Sure. And it's plus minus money. It's actually not bad. The under 2.5 is $1.74. It's like, it's pretty damn good.
What is?
The under 2.5.
What is down to 2.5?
$1.74. I don't know what that is in American.
You're talking about what though? Miranda money line?
No, the under 2.5 rounds.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got knocked out in round 1 by Wagner Rocha, the jiu-jitsu guy. But I guarantee you that was from like like a mount and then raining down shots, because Ragnar Roach is like a world-class jiu-jitsu guy. But yeah, and Benoit's getting knocked out by Benoit Saint-Denis, man. That means nothing.
Yeah.
The dude is underrated and rabies.
Yeah, it feels like this is going to be a card of many passes. Pray for a live bet.
Indeed. Oh, I'm not praying anymore, man. Live bet's dead to me. I'll talk about my failure in Contender Series, but when it comes next week. But Jung only still in the roster purely because he's a Sikh. Yeah, I honestly thought we were going to see Jung in Eternal MMA after that Builder fight. Jung fighting for his job. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to fade guys fighting for their job. It's been a good angle. Big Bird, one shot for every Aussie fighting card. Chad. I mean, that's not going to be that bad, honestly. Chad, you probably have to do like 2 shots.
That's
There's more
what
New
I did to
Zealanders.
warm up.
Yeah, there's more New Zealanders. Jamie Mullarkey, Jack Jenkins, and you can say Tyson Pedro as an Aussie and Tafa.
They lump you guys in together, New Zealand and Australia. The
Anzacs. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. Just a bunch of uneducated people in America. Jung is the side, but fuck that number, to be honest. One shot every time Steve says bum or jobber. I never wanted to be that guy, but here we are. I've become a guy that just calls everyone a bum. Akai, one shot for every pass, and we're all done. Yeah,
that's the one that'll get us.
If you want to get drunk, then yeah, take a shot every time we pass on a fight. Alrighty, let's move on. Maybe we can keep this one quick. I hope we can.
Sure.
Where am
I? Charlie
Blood
Radtke
Diamond versus Charlie Radtke. Take it away, Chad.
I'm somehow getting to a point where I'm tempted to play Blood Diamond in a UFC fight, which is not a place I want to be. I don't really know much about this Radtke guy. I know he's not covering this line, but how do you bet on one of the worst people to do it in the UFC? Like, maybe I saw like the Blood Diamond like KO angle, but I guess this guy probably gets him down early and subs him. But how do you play, right, at these lines with a more of an unknown quantity? Like, for me it would be dog or pass, but when the dog happens to be Blood Diamond, I'm not too interested in putting money on him, you know. Then I looked at unders and it's not great. I mean, minus 200. Blood Diamond in the fight against what's his name? Wells. Like, Wells is a beast. He was just beating the absolute shit out of Carlston Harris, which, you know, I think is pretty impressive. So I don't hold that against him too bad. Losing to Orion Koshi, very bad. I'm not sure. He might just survive to a decision on bottom, so I'm not really interested in the under either. I hate to say it, boys. Take a shot. For me, this is a pass. I hope Steve has a play for you.
I must be tripping, because I swear when I initially perused the over-unders, I swear I thought I saw the under 2.5 at plus money. And then I patiently taped it, and then it was a minus 200. And I was like, nah, no way he got steamed that much. So it's probably just a mistake on my part.
Okay.
But if it was plus money, I mean, that's an easy play, because this Charlie Radtke guy, I know you said you're not familiar, but I did tape way too many fights of his. I remember him from Justin Montalvo. I taped that guy a lot. You know, he essentially dominated Montalvo with takedowns and back takes. And then Montalvo does what he does. You know, gets up and body shot KO. That guy just fights like that all the time.
No, the under was always at like minus 200 range.
Yeah, just an error. I probably saw the over and thought that was the under. Yeah, that would have been a smash spot. And yeah, he doesn't proactively grapple in these other fights, but he's freaking one punch KOing these dudes. You know, I think he might have, and he's just getting like a rear naked choke over this Forrest guy, who's decent. He beat that dude. He was the only guy to beat that jobber that Bo Nickel ran through in Contender Series. Up until
Beard, or
that's it. Up until that jobber lost another one. But yeah, he seems to have one punch KO power. He seems to like to strike more recently. He just seems like a way more well-rounded fighter. Like, he's got wrestling, he's got jiu-jitsu, he's got back takes. I've seen someone backpack him a black belt and he survived, which is more than I can probably say would happen to Mike Mathifa in that fight. Yeah, he should be the favorite just because Mateta is just a bunch of nothing. And yeah, someone said, John or Martin, losing a decision to Koske. We all faded Koske in the Discord at plus money against Urbina. What a play that was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that guy's going to retire now. And Mike hurt him there. He hurt him. I can see him hurt him at Radtke here because Radtke he's been hurt in a bunch of fights. That's why I contemplated the under. But Mike kind of seems durable. He kind of seems durable. He's I don't think his jiu-jitsu is that bad. Like getting submitted by the Gracie black belt Wells, like you said, and we'll see what he did to Harris. Doesn't mean anything. I think these guys are on similar levels. And I just think, Radtke just edges it, man. He either finishes him or edges it. Or I can even see Diamond looking value and winning. But it's just, yeah. The story of this card is there could be a bunch of value losers. And it's like a show me spot. A bunch of debut fighters. Show me.
Seems like a bunch of like minus EV favorite wins. But,
100%. But not even confident to parlay him and hope for the best. Like,
no.
Like there's a couple of guys that I might parlay and hope for the best, and it's like, whatever. If they end up minus EVing, at least I profited.
Sure.
All right, the final fight of the shit shows: Nasrat, Quiñones. I don't think Quiñones is as bad as his line indicates. I taped him for the first time. Actually, no, I remember him taping this last guy that he knocked out, the African dude. He's friends with Dan Levy, and he knocked him out. I was like, oh, this Quiñones ain't that bad. And I think the line is this because he got submitted in round 1 by Jason Knight. I'm pretty confident because I see the echo chamber on Twitter talking about that.
Yeah.
Not like we're ever going to see Nasrat Haqparast lock in a slick triangle like that off his back in his entire life. So this is going to be a striking battle with two southpaws. And Nasrat is extremely one-dimensional. Whenever he's fought a high-level striker, he was shut down, minus John Makdessi. But that was kind of competitive, and he had a big moment in round 2 to win a clear 29-28. And Makdessi, we'll speak about him soon. It's just a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, I think it's just going to be another minus EV winner, where he, he's just a more explosive, athletic guy. Quiñones is a pressure striker. He actually has, I think his regional tape is quite good. He's knocked out a bunch of solid Titan FC guys with pressure and cardio and volume. Seems to have good power, but he gets wobbled a bit. It's kind of like mindless pressure, like a typical Mexican style. He's definitely going to walk into, I'm not going to say definitely, but if he fights like that, he's live to walk into a left hand from Nasrat. The under is plus money, barely plus money to 2.5. I guess I'm kind of considering it. But the issue is Nasrat is extremely durable, and he just feels like a war where it's going to trickle over to a decision. And I'm not going to waste my money on Quiñones, even though this is wide. It's just going to go back to my usual self. Last week on Reese McKee and a bunch of others, I probably would have just live bet it and saved my money and been a pansy. And so that's what I'm going to do here. I think if you're going to bet Quiñones, he's going to come on late. And then if it's 1-1, look at that aspect. But yeah, pass fight.
Yeah. So I do think this is going to be a boring fight. Nasrat is kind of a pussy. He's not the type to pour it on, really. And like you said, it's going to be two southpaws, and often that ends up being more of a like staring contest. They fight at a lower pace. So I have a play to kind of shorten the odds on Nasrat because I do think he's going to be winning this fight. So depending on what you have access to on the Bet365 bet builder, Nasrat by KO or decision plus over 1.5 rounds is minus 125. And I think that's a nice way to play him. Alternatively, if you don't have access to that, different places have round 3 or decision at, minus 115. But at that point, you might as well just play Nasrat decision, I think. So yeah, I like the Bet365. It's a good way to chop down a giant favorite. He's like minus 400 to minus 125. I really don't think he finishes in round 1 at a high clip. So give me a nice boring fight where Nasrat just, clearly wins, but nothing really happens.
That's what I was waiting for. The same game Chad parlays. That's a couple of weeks ago. The dude made 5,000 with those. There's nothing wrong with those. Like if they're gonna give me a shit card like this, where I don't have a good play and a good money line with value, then you have to do same game parlays. You have to do some dodgy square stuff to make a profit. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to. Some of the bookies that do it haven't been able to take advantage. Now you can do it on Bet365, like you said, and I could do it on Neds, which is another Australian bookie, and I know people can do it on DK in America. So really, no one should be complaining about not being able to make same game parlays. That's if you can do it in Australia, you can do it in a lot of places. So yeah, just I like that. So what is it? KO decision
plus over 1.5.
I mean, I don't even know if I want to include KO decision because it's like 10 cents better. It's just like might as well just do the money line and over.
You could. That's like minus 140 or something.
And just hope that Nasrat doesn't knock him out because, like I said, I've seen this guy hurt a bunch of times, and Nasrat dropped Makdessi in round 2. It's just like, was it under 1.5? But yeah, but it's a good way to pump it up. All right, let's move on.
Sure.
Jamie Mullarkey, John Makdessi. Would you like to take this one away or?
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind. I actually think it's an interesting fight. If there were less age concerns for me, I would be playing Makdessi because the Mullarkey line got way out of control. He was like minus 180 and then got blown out to like minus 280, and now he's minus 250. There's a little buyback on Makdessi. I'm not sure how Mullarkey is going to fight here. So that's another thing that makes me wary about the fight. He's coming off getting knocked out by Nemov in what should have been a layup for him, right? And right before that, he had the Prado fight where he just laid and prayed for the entire fight. So he seems to be going away from his brawling, pour on the volume style. Maybe he's aware of his limitations and that he can't just keep getting into wars if he wants to have a longer career. So that being said, I obviously overs or GTD would be something I'm looking at, but it's juiced, right? Makdessi is good on the counter. He's a solid fighter. I know he lost to Nasrat and he's getting old. He beat the shit out of Bahamondos. He's good. He truly is. Like, skill for skill, he's better than Mullarkey. If he was in his prime, this would be a max bet. But he's starting to slow down. He's 38 years old. He's had a long career. But still, the line is wide. I don't see Mullarkey covering this, especially because it's going to be, if I had to guess, an outside kickboxing match. I don't think he's going to be able to take Makdessi down. He has pretty good takedown defense historically. So you're looking at like an outside kickboxing match where I don't really think Jamie is good, and Makdessi is a lot more savvy. So I'm probably going to end up playing Makdessi. I think you have to. Maybe he rocks up looking terrible with age, which is why you have to be careful in these spots. But I just don't see a way for Mullarkey to cover minus 250 here. So I've been waiting, and I'll wait for the steam and probably play last second because I'm sure people are going to parlay Mullarkey on fight day. But yeah, I'm probably going to play him. Hopefully it can get back up to like plus 225. But yeah, I think that's the side you have to be on here.
On Mullarkey? Did you say on Mullarkey's the side?
No, I think Makdessi is the side you have to be on here.
Once they steam Mullarkey, yeah, I agree. It's always so hard to play Makdessi. He almost lost that Bahamondes fight too, because Bahamondes came on late, rounds 2 and 3, after getting rocked with the higher volume. But yeah, like you said, injuries and he says he's at fight ready now, and he says he he's coming out for a finish because he's sick of all these close decisions. But I mean, he said that against Nasrat, and they hated each other, and it was just the same old fight. Yeah, it's tough. I don't want to bang on too much about it. It just screams pass. I feel like I know what's going to happen here. You said you're not sure how they're going to fight. I get it, because in the Prado fight, it was super technical and boring. He just wanted the win. His corner just wanted the win. Then I just had this feeling that it was going to affect him, and he came out super reckless against Naimov, and then he got sparked. And you just know he's going to come out there and be patient again. It always happens. He doesn't want to get knocked out again in his hometown. And this is a classical striking fight where Jamie Mullarkey doesn't cover in a striking fight. He gets hurt by everyone. He almost lost. He should have lost the split decision to Michael Johnson.
100%.
He got knocked out by Naimov. Naimov doesn't really knock out anyone, man.
No.
But that's what happens when you eat a clean counter with your hands down. It's a dog or pass. It's just I'm not screaming at a low output John Makdessi in Australia. When Mullarkey's going to have the more eye-catching shots. When he sits down on his punches, he hits hard, and he's going to proactively wrestle. I regret not betting Naimov live. I was like, man, he can't hold this guy down, and I went to call up, and then the KO happened right then and there. It's just to see how this fight's going, and yeah.
I don't think he can, even if he wrestles, I don't think it's good for him. I don't think he's getting Makdessi down unless he's really regressed.
No, I think he'll get Makdessi down, because in round 3, when Nasrat was slowing down, he hit really easy double legs on Makdessi twice. And I think that's why 2 judges gave him a 30-27, which was retarded. He clearly was winning round 3. He was, straight to turtle and stood back up. I don't think Mullarkey's going to be able to hold him down. If he does hit takedowns.
Well, if we look at that fight as sort of an analog to this one, not that they're very similar, but I could see it going down a similar way, and where it's a low output outside kickboxing fight. Nasrat dropped him and hurt him right in round 2, which is probably why he won the fight. If Mullarkey doesn't hurt him and drop him, this is going to be very close. I see no other way.
Yep. I just don't have the balls to do it.
It won't be a big bet, probably like 1 unit, but if you're ready live, you can see how Makdessi rocks up if he's going to be competitive. Usually you have a chance to jump in early, right?
Yeah, I mean, we know what we're going to get from Makdessi, man. All right, it's just that fight against Trinaldo, losing a 3-round striking decision to Trinaldo, who's also extremely low output, and he just kept spamming left hands.
Trinaldo is honestly one of my favorite fighters. I don't care what people say. He's very hard to beat, and he wins decisions. Like, every fight with him, even if he's losing, it's close, right? He beat Bobby Green. Jai Herbert was kind of piecing him up before he killed him, but I don't know, man. He's a hard puzzle to solve.
Yeah, he is. He is. All right, let's move on. We're wasting too much time on that fight.
Sure.
FIFA X Gaming. Who's better looking, Mullarkey or Ulberg? That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I'll have to get back to you at the end of the podcast.
Every time I see Mullarkey, because of his eyebrows, I always say he looks like a bird of prey. Like he truly does. He's a funny looking fella.
You know who he looks like? He looks like creator characters on games when you're like doing the face structure, and you destroy the eyebrow setting. You just go all the way to 0 for like the down and inwards, and so he just looks like a not an accurate fighter. And you're like, oh damn, I should go to 50 points for the eyebrows.
With the giant brow ridge like sticking out.
Yeah, he just goes forward and he goes all the way down, so you can't see his eyes. I'm like, oh, damn, someone just overdid the eyebrow setting on the creator cap. John Ohm Martin, really hoping we get some entertaining fights. That's why I'm not going, man, because last Sydney card, I had the Tybura and Verdum 5-round pay-per-view. I had Bojan Velickovic versus Jake Matthews on the main card. The third fight from the main event was Jessie Jess debuting on short notice against Beck Rollins. And you know what? That was the best fight on the card. The girls actually scrapped. And I was like, that's fine. I paid like $200 for those tickets, peanuts. And now they want me to pay $1,000 for this. Nah, it's a different kettle of fish. Just ending my main event with Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland. Nah, that's
But you got to see Tai Tuivasa's debut flying knee win.
that was amazing. I was right at I ended up coming late and I went straight. I'm like to my friend, no, we can't get food now. Let's go watch this Tuivasa fight. And then it just all the sweat, like when he landed the flying knee from the guy going back, landed on me. Shit was great. All right, let's move on. Jack Jenkins, Chepe Mariscal. This is the one fight I actually consider laying the juice, and forcing a money line here. I get it. I've been looking to fade Jack Jenkins. There's a lot of issues. I wouldn't say a lot, but there's some issues with him. He was a semi-popular dog against Emmers. When I capped it and taped it, I thought Emmers just had so many advantages against him. The athleticism, the fast twitch. I thought his striking was overall better, other than just a calf kick. I thought his wrestling was better. The cardio was better. Power as well. And look, I don't think I was wrong. At the end of the day, that to me that was a clear 29-28 for Emmers.
Yep.
And he essentially threw away round one. He decided to fight really negatively, which I guess that's why people fade him, because of his IQ. But when he actually let his hands go, he just cleanly out wrestled Jack Jenkins. And I think this is a step down. I think Chepe, he has a path. He has a path to fight like Emmers. He fights like Emmers in rounds 2 and 3 all the time. He's all aggression. I think he's the faster guy. He throws more volume. He might even crack harder than Jack. I mean, majority of Jack Jenkins' KOs are, calf kicks, right? Broken legs, etc. And he doesn't have many of them, other than when you go back to his lower level regional fights. And Chepe actually has a lot of KOs, man. The guy's throwing hard. He has his own leg kicks too. And he's got a good scramble base on the ground. He's a judoka guy. He's beaten Pat Sabatini and Zalal on the regionals by out scrambling him. And we see Jack Jenkins losing back control to Don Shyness and Emmers as well. He's a good back taker, but he will lose it. He's got a bit of issues with control. That's probably because he trains at Absolute MMA. In Melbourne, that's the closest gym to me out of anyone in the UFC. It's like 20 minutes drive. But yeah, it's also hard to fade him. He's just so technical, and he's smart, and he's good at mixing in wrestling. He can probably out finesse Mariscal here, 29-28, just because he knows what to do. If he let his hands go a bit more, you see he's like controlling Shyness, and then Shyness just kind of like lands a few shots, and then Jack Jenkins goes, nah, F this. And then he just does like a beautiful combo, head body, and ends it with a calf kick. And it's like, why don't you do that all the time? Why don't you step on the burner a bit? But I think it's the issue with the cardio. Round 3, he always slows down round 3, and we've seen Emmers have the best success in round 3. I don't know how Chepe's cardio is. I think he also slows down a little bit, and dropping down. This is full camp, but he's dropping down to featherweight again. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Yeah, he is. I think he's fine at lightweight. I don't know. I'm going between laying the juice on Jenkins. I think it's going to be like a minus EV winner. Plus in Australia, but yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. He's got his own holes, with the lack of output, and he can be taken down. He can be out grappled for periods, and he does slow down in that third. So I don't want to say it's a dog or pass, but yeah. Yeah, I know a friend that laid the juice a bit better than minus 200, and he sprinkled a little bit of decision. So I'm close. If I'm going to have a money line, it's going to be that probably.
Yeah. I don't hate the decision play. I have another one of the cheeky little parlays. Jenkins and over 1.5.
I like that one more than the Nasrat one.
Minus 105. I think that's more than fair. Generally, the leg kick KOs, it takes a lot of accumulation. It's not something that tends to happen in round 1 unless the guy is absolutely terrible. And I just don't think Jenkins hits all that hard otherwise, right? So I think it's a good way to chop his price to something more reasonable. I favor him here. I don't think, I know there's a lot of people on the Chepe side, but I think he's going to get his leg blasted at range. I don't think he's going to have the same cardio. He looked better against Peak at 155. I'm not sure he's going to have the same cardio at 145 here. And Jenkins, getting your leg kicked really wears on you. I should price shop for the decision because I see it going that way a lot of the time. I faded Jack Jenkins with Emmers, so I wasn't happy about that. But he competed better than expected. He kind of fell apart late, like you said, but I don't think Chepe has the tools or the athleticism that Emmers has, nor the kind of grappling success. So, yeah, it's probably going to be for me. I think 30-27 Jack. So, but I'm trying to cover my bases. Maybe I'll be on decision too, and if I price shop and get something good. But yeah, I like that -105 for Jenkins plus over 1.5. Think it's a good one.
Yeah, like I said, I like that way better than the Nasrat one, just because Nasrat has power, and this kid, I've seen him wobble a bunch.
Sure.
I mean, I'll be surprised if. Yeah, I don't see. Yes, someone here said GRBCK. Just makes it always great for me to pronounce that. Cutting down, and he's been knocked out a bunch. But yeah, I mean, I fell for that as well against Peak. He's been knocked out by like Joe Anderson, Brito, and the hardest hitters. Fought Faria, who's a hard hitter too, and it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Garcia got him with a knee.
He got him with like an ungodly amount of damage, and it was still an early stoppage in rounds two.
He's not and Gregor got him. I remember because I looked into it. His chin held up fine against Peak, who's going to knock out a lot of guys, even though he sucks. Jenkins just doesn't hit hard. He doesn't have the boxing that way.
No, he doesn't. All right, we're going quite long. We're not even at the main card yet. But Carlos Ulberg, Da Jung. I think this is a step up for Carlos. And at the same time, I can see what the UFC is doing here. It's a step up, and it's a guy that's quite slow and plodding. And, I used to think he has a Korean chin, but I'm not so sure about that either. And, he's extremely hittable. We've seen him constantly get countered by someone like Sam Alvey. There is no doubt in my mind that Carlos should be able to counter him here. I see some people playing Jung. I guess I get it. Yeah, I don't get it as a, it's definitely a play. This is an easy live bet. Jung getting through round one of Ulberg when Ulberg is extremely, extremely explosive and fast is going to be telling. I want to wait and see Ulberg actually slow down before I, throw my money away on Jung, who just he's at a lot of disadvantages here. I get the wrestling, but I don't think Ulberg is a bad grappler either. I think early it will be hard to hold down, to take down. It's just people just haven't seen that part of his game, but you can see it in spurts in fights. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, I just think both these guys are counter strikers. People also playing Jung because of that. But Carlos is really good at making you pressure him, because when both fighters are not engaging, Carlos is kicking the shit out of you with legs. He's so fast. He's the teep up the middle, the leg kicks, and then you're forced to kind of pressure. So we've seen Jug doing the same thing against Alvey. Alvey was like tagging him, and he just couldn't stop pressuring, and kept hitting the left hand. So yeah, I mean, this is what is there to say. I don't feel comfortable laying the juice on Ulberg, just because it's one thing to do it against Ilya, not Topuria. What was I going to say? Ilo Poteria.
Him too.
Ilya Topuria and Ilo Poteria is quite similar there. Just the Ukrainian bum, we'll call him that. It's one thing to lay the juice on him there when the guy doesn't belong. But, Jung, he's big, he's long, he's got power, and he's going to pressure. And that's, if he can kind of not get knocked out, I don't feel comfortable. What I was looking at here, obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if Ulberg KOs him. I've seen the guy just knock out some incredibly durable dudes, like Nicola.
Yeah.
But the under 1.5 here, it's a pick 'em. That's, it's not bad. It's not bad. I could see it going over, but it depends on Jung. If Jung comes out there extremely pressure heavy, I think this ends in the under personally. And Jung is also quite powerful, man. What he does is a 1-2 down the pipe, and Ulberg with that check hook, if he mistimes it, I've seen him miss like a check hook a bunch of times, and it's what Rockhold falls a victim of. You know, he missed the check hook, and then they come down the middle and crack him clean because there's no defense on the chin when you're trying to swipe. But yeah, I'm considering this under 1.5. You know, maybe Ulberg is just complete pussy mode in Australia and doesn't want to rush it. But yeah, it all depends on Jung. Hopefully Jung comes in pressure heavy and just keeps walking into that check hook. But I haven't played anything. That's the only thing I'm really considering. And I'll look into Jung live. What about you, mate? I'm going to take a whiz, but you keep talking.
Sure. Yeah, like the fight against Alvey is a fight that you can't get out of your head when you've seen it. Like he's a plodding guy. I felt like I was on an island. I was one of the only people that bet Jacoby against Jung. Everyone was steaming Jung. I'm like, this guy just has no defense. I don't find him extremely durable, you know. I think plodding forward with no defense and a questionable chin against Carlos is probably not going to work out for him. If he can get the takedowns early, fair game, but I don't think he'll be able to close the distance easily. So I really do think Carlos knocks him out. I'm not thrilled to parlay, what is he, minus 300 now? I did, when his line came in, I played Carlos at minus 245 on Bet Online because people were steaming Jung, but I guess it's probably gone by now. What's it at? Yeah, minus 260. I mean, yeah, not great. I think he gets it done. The UFC really wants him to succeed. They're seeing something here, you know, guy that's going to plod forward and just eat shots, probably get knocked out. Carlos is the side for me. I don't see value on Jung as a dog. So,
yeah. I just want to say, Gombas was definitely on.
Yeah,
it was like a double max bet on Jacoby, so he was screaming it from the rooftops.
Really? I didn't know that. Everyone I spoke to was on Jung.
Yeah. I mean, the line was fluctuating. It was. I wish I passed on that fight. I was in Europe and I smashed everything. I hit like Leach KO decision over Muslim Salikov at like massive dog odds. I hit like. Oh, I just smashed the money lines, and then I tried to like hedge. It was like Jacoby decision and Jung money line, and then Jacoby round 1 KOs him. I was like, you kidding me, dude?
People underrate Jacoby's power. He's fought some durable guys. It's like no one.
Saying it. We said it against Kennedy, bro.
Exactly.
People saying Jacoby decision. I was like, nah, man, this is his life for an early KO.
And I said, I posted in the Discord. I was like, at least play KO decision. You're getting a really good line too. Like just play that.
We both jumped on that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, love it when I'm right. Would mind going back to the old times, the good old times.
Yeah, it's coming.
All right, it's coming. I'm coming. All right, what do we got? Jenkins money line is safer. I don't know. I can see him finishing here. Yeah, look, that's how I'm feeling. I don't want to get cheeky. It's like the one money line that I'm considering playing. What's minus 200? That's like 66%, right? Implied.
Oh, I always use a calculator. I never remember.
Yeah, but like minus 200 is like such a standard favorite line. I think it's 60 something, 66,
67, right? Yeah, 66.66.
Yeah. So what percentage would you give Mariscal to squeeze out a scrappy split decision in Australia? Like what, 20%, 30%?
I would say 20.
There you go. So there's still value of minus 200. So I'll just play the money line. You know, don't get cheeky with it. I've been burned before. And that way you force something and you have a play and that's it.
Sure.
All right. Jung looks scared to strike in the Clark fight, all that cage push. Look, Jung was dominating him with the wrestling, man. He kept losing position and then engaging in the grappling is what cost him the fight. Jung versus Alvey, absolutely horrible look. Yep, you shouldn't forget it because I think Jung is the same fighter still. Squares, Jung, Sabo, here we go.
I know who that is.
The man with all the bets, the submission bets. All right, share this tab instead. Don't mind if I do. All righty, Tyson, Pedro, Anton, Turkalj. I do have a bet here. My only bet at the moment, my only money line. I locked it in early. Yes, Chad is patting himself on the back, but it was my other friend that told me about it as well, and I was like, all right, let's do this. It was plus 120, $2.20, $2.25 actually, but I just wrote 220 in the Discord, and I told everyone I bet 1K, and then I recently reduced it to win 1K. It's a mixture of 210 and 220, just because I am my shitty Bet365. I can only win 500, so I won 500 on each one. But yeah, I mean now it's juiced to like $1.80. I think it's back to pick'em on Bet365, which I guess is fair. I don't really like these. If a fight is lined at pick'em, I'm getting these slight dog odds because it's like minimum. It's like 20 cents at best. But I mean, what it comes down to is Anton is just going to fight for my money, whereas Tyson Pedro, I've never seen him fight for my money. It's just simple as that. It's so simple, man. Like he says that he he was sick in the last fight, but he's always got an excuse. He done his knee against Shogun. He doesn't really have an excuse for getting dominated by Latifi. No excuse from getting straight arm locked by Owen Sempru.
Yeah.
After hurting him and then going in for a takedown. So these are the things that plague his career. That's who he is. It's not being sick. It's not injuries. That's who Tyson Pedro is. He's got bad cardio and he's got flakiness about him. And yeah, Anton is 100% undersized. I remember playing the under 1.5 in his short notice debut against Almeida, and he weighed in at 212 pounds at heavyweight. So that, like, the guy barely cuts anything for light heavyweight. And you can see it. He's not as physical. He gets taken down easy. We've seen, Ibo Iceland, the guy that's got signed to the Contender Series, a Turkish dude. He was undefeated until Turkalj rear-naked choked him. But yeah, Ibo was throwing him around. Petrino was throwing him around. But he showed me good. I probably seen the best jiu-jitsu from him against Almeida, other than Shamil. The way he was surviving and the way he wasn't even close. And he was just really good at getting up and avoiding the sub until Almeida finally locked it in. It took him 4 minutes and something to break down Anton. So I don't think Pedro is live for a finish here. I'll be surprised if he's the first person to finish Turkalj, and especially in round one. Now, the narrative that I've heard 100,000 times, probably every single person I know that talked to me about this fight said, why don't you just lie bet it instead? So let's just get that out of the way before Chad says it to me as well. I'm more likely to. I'll be more shocked if Pedro knocks out Turkalj or submits him in round one than I would if Turkalj does it. So Turkalj is a mean machine. He's got a bunch of round one. He's got spinning back fist KOs in 10 seconds. He hurt Petrino with the hands. I think that was round two. But he hurt Petrino with an up kick in round one. He's a mean machine. He could do something crazy and crack Pedro, and Pedro flakes. So I don't want to be losing on that because I'm waiting for a live bet. Like I said, live bet's been killing me. Just all these fights that I was certain I was going to had value on, and I waited for live bet. The live bet was gone in bloody Australia, and having to be online for 30 minutes is just makes me tilted. So yeah, I got dog money. So even if Turkalj loses round one, because that's when Pedro is fresh, he's going to be more the physical guy and might get a takedown. I'm happy to rely on Turkalj to come back and wins 2 and 3 at dog money, right? At dog money. He's meant to lose one round at dog money. So yeah, it's volatile. It's why I reduced it to win 1,000 instead of having 1,000 on it at dog money. But yeah, like just a roundabout way of saying one guy's going to fight for my money. Turkalj, durable. Well, he keeps coming forward. He's happy to scrap in there. Pedro is just shut down, man. He just doesn't want to fight. He just needed to throw a couple more strikes against Bukauskas and he would have won. And he got into his own mind. So yeah, this seems like to be the mush play of the week. So let's hope it's not. But yeah, I'm happy to be on it.
Yeah, me too. I was beating the drum early. I got Anton plus 125 for a decent chunk. Just a clear side, right? Before even tape, you know who Pedro is and who Anton is. Sure, Pedro could potentially knock him out round one. It's possible. Maybe he locks up a guillotine on a sloppy Anton takedown early. I also think Anton will struggle a bit with his physicality until he wears on him. But that being said, you have a guy that was plus money against a guy that flakes and is probably going to be looking for the door in rounds 2 and 3 at the pace that Anton fights at. And I look at the Petrino fight. I know he kind of. Hey, puppy. Mine's sleeping right next to me too. I look at the Petrino fight, and yeah, he got cracked a lot, but that's actually a pretty impressive performance against Petrino, who I think is very good. He's on all the sauce, and he's a far better athlete and more dangerous than Pedro. Like he's very good, I think. So to fight like that against him, I think is a good look. And he never stopped coming, right? The whole fight, despite eating bombs and whatever, he was taking Petrino down. He was coming at him. Like you said, he even might have rocked him at one point. And
Twice. He rocked him twice.
Was it twice?
Yeah, he rocked him with the hands as well in the second round. He decided to throw out 1-2, and then DC went crazy. But luckily, Petrino, he had the wrestling to fall back on, which I guess you can see Pedro do that here, but it's just
for one round, maybe.
Yeah, he just doesn't proactively do it. Like,
and I don't think he has the gas to. Like he looked tired in the Bukauskas fight, which was low pace and nothing happened with no grappling. Anton is going to cook this guy. If Pedro doesn't KO him in round one, he's going to get cooked, probably finished. I think it's all Petrino 2-3. All Turkalj 2-3. So clear spot at plus money. I think even at Pick'em, you have one guy that's, I would put, if it gets there, probably 90% to win round 3. And then you have another guy that likes to give up, flakes, and his wins are what? He's KOing absolute bums. Like, he's beating Harry Hunsucker, okay? Ike Villanueva. He's losing to the ghost of Shogun, to Bukauskas after getting his knee destroyed. Like, he's not good. He's not improving. I do think it's funny. I was talking to Scrap about it and how Eugene Behrman must feel when, because he's in there with guys like Volk and Izzy, and then he has to fucking be in the corner for brainlets like Pedro. And it must be very frustrating because this guy is just
Blood Diamond.
Yeah, Blood Diamond, do that. Oh, he was losing his mind in
He was.
Blood Diamond against who?
Muske.
Yeah, dude, he was losing his mind. So yeah, I imagine it's more of the same in the corner in this fight. So the prices aren't great on 2-3. Maybe on some weird local books, I'll be able to price shop. I do think he gets him out of there. I wouldn't be shocked if it was round 1, so I'm not trying to get too pretty with it. But I got like 650 on the money line, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Yeah, I don't want to get cheeky with it either. And I get it if you favor him and you still think there's something on a pick'em. But yeah, I just feel like a pick'em is quite close to being accurate, so wouldn't want to force it there. Just because, yeah, his Turkalj has his holes as well.
Sure.
Alrighty. Turkalj brought Pedro's wife into the mix at the presser. Pedro going to gas trying to kill him. Look, whatever Pedro does, yeah, I don't see it. It's just these guys. I'm so annoyed that I didn't fade him against Bukauskas. It's like I had the same feeling as I did now, and instead I just lost the live bet on the exchange. Yeah, he's just these guys. They have it all against them. They can't fight patiently because they're low volume and they gas, and they can't fight aggressively because if they don't finish, they also gas. It's like these are prime fade dudes. Unless they're fighting bums that they can actually finish, then yeah, cash in on them. Live bet on Betfair shite. Yeah, I mean,
dude, the lines that they get on DK and FanDuel, crazy. What's micro shading?
I don't know.
First play of the card. It's not the first play of the card. But yeah, I was on it first. I put you on it, bitch. Fucking NTT.
No, he's gonna be on Anton sub. The other thing is, I got some people hitting me up about the over 2.5, just which I get it. That's the side, because it's the under is the over 2.5. Pardon me, because the under is so juiced, and I essentially don't see Pedro finishing him. So then it's like I'm relying on Anton, but it's like, how does Anton finish Pedro? Like, we haven't really seen him. I don't think he's chinny, right? He's gassy, but we haven't really seen any chin issues.
If he's on top, round 2, round 3, throwing
he would need like ground and pound. He would need to be like and I hate being on like break finishes where someone has to break him, because then like any second of resting can make the judge not stop the fight. Like he needs to break him, and I don't know if Anton has it in him to like clean KO Pedro. He probably has that Samoan chin, right? And plus his rear naked chokes. The only guy, it's like Ebo, and Ebo, and that was like a full gassy.
But that's a similar sort of archetype to this fight.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I agree. But it's juicy. So it's like I'm just relying on Anton getting a finish on the broken Pedro. I don't like to play unders when it's like one-sided.
I would rather play the over 1.5 at like, what is it, minus 125, than play the over 2.5 at plus 160. Because I really do think Pedro, especially if he's on bottom, which I think he will be, can get broken down the stretch. Just even if it's like nothing ground and pound, where he's like barely tapping him, the ref's gonna, or he gives up his neck because he's getting his face beaten in for 4 minutes straight.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty, let's keep this one short and sweet for real. First time I taped this fight, I didn't like anything. I didn't like the under. I didn't like Tafa KO. I was considering Austen Lane dog shot, but to bet him, you need to live bet him, because he just loses until his cardio comes into play. He actually has really good cardio. That's about all he has. His wrestling is shit as well until people like cardio die. So that's some people got in my head and they're like, oh, the under is a smash. I was like, let's tape it again, because now they fought, and I just saw the lane was a lot faster. And Tafa is not like his brother. His brother has a lot more KO upside because he's actually athletic. Tafa is just a plodding, slow guy that needs like the big counter, right? And counter left, pardon me. And Porter gave it to him. He just ran chin first into it, and he gave him a beautiful like highlight reel walk-off KO, which Lane might do as well. But it's just it feels volatile. It feels volatile that Tafa can land that shot. Other than that, they're just going to be like Lane maybe running around, kicking, trying to grapple him. Yeah, I'm passing everything here. Minus 200 on that. If this was his brother, right, who just knocked out Porter, if this was, I would hammer it. I think he would destroy Lane in the first round. But Justin just being so much shorter and slow, and yeah, it's a pass. Pass all the way around.
I played Tafa KO1 plus 215. So
yeah, only way to play it, I guess.
At that price, I was fine with it. I wouldn't be playing it at like plus 130 or whatever the hell it's dropped down to now. But yeah.
How's this? It's round one on. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. Okay. Round one on Bet365 is plus 140, dude.
I mean, I preferred plus 215.
Oh, you played 215? Oh,
yeah.
When was it at that? That was a while back.
That's a Bet Online one, yeah.
I'm surprised Bet Online had a good line like that.
It's funny because it closed like maybe plus 110, plus 120 last time. So I was surprised they opened it up this way. But,
yeah, I mean, I'm even surprised by the 50 cents of extra plus money. I thought it would be like pick 'em or even minus money.
Sure. I mean, listen, if you're gonna play this fight, I know I bet KO1, which I think is pretty likely scenario, but Austen is going to be running away for the entire first round, so it may be frustrating. I don't hate playing GTD here, to be honest. I might play both, like plus 400, plus 450 GTD. If it doesn't finish in round one, I think it goes, right? So I think I might be able to hedge my my play with that, because I don't think he's finishing him out at round one. And most heavyweight fights that get out of round one, GTD, statistically. So you're getting really wide odds. And Lane is a negative finisher, right? So I'm not worried about him coming on late, even with his cardio. So yeah, that might be a play. If you didn't get that, GTD's probably... Listen, it might look terrible. He might lose in 30 seconds. But if it gets out of round one, I think it's going to look really good.
Yeah, not for me, man. I don't think Lane is a negative finisher. Like that ground and pound KO on Contender Series. That's exactly how I see him finishing Tafa when he's gassed and he finally gets his first takedown in rounds 2 and 3.
But if it's going that long, I don't know that Tafa is going to be gassed, because there's going to be nothing happening. Like he's just going to be backing him down. Huh?
Tafa's always going to be gassed, especially if he's on his back.
Well, I guess, right? If he's on his back all around 2 and then round 3, sure. But I really see, just from how the first fight was going down, I know he was always going to be very passive round 1, but I think he's going to be on his bike, just running away, maybe trying to kick and then run. I don't know. I don't like Lane, so I'm biased. Tafa does suck, though, to be fair.
Yeah, they both suck. You can't play. There's no way you can play minus 200 on a guy that lost the decision to Jared Bandera. And a comprehensive decision too. All right, Manuel Cut versus Felipe dos Santos. I was fading dos Santos on Contender Series against some unproven kid. I thought he was way too hittable, and he's flimsy. He's not athletic. Yeah, maybe is it a parlay piece? I don't know. I thought I would definitely be parlay piecing Kape, just because it's a giant step up, and I get it. Kape can be low volume, and this guy's from shooter box, and shooter box dudes, they have a lot of disadvantages, but they just keep coming and they win fights despite having issues with takedown defense, defense in general. But yeah, I mean, it's a different story when you have no defense against Kape, right? He's just going to get lit up. And I saw, first fight I saw upon retaping for this fight, it doesn't check calf kicks at all. It gets chewed up. Second last fight was bad takedown defense, which Kape actually has really good wrestling that he used against Pantoja and a few others. There's just so many holes on this kid, right? There's the takedown defense, the calf kicks, the body and the head defense. He's not athletic. He's not physical. He's going to have the decision Kape. I don't think he's going to knock him out. His last 2 fights, one was a split decision. The second one against Paiva should have been a split decision. He took like more than 5 takedowns he conceded. So yeah, this is Kape's fight to lose. Will he start out slow and make round 1 competitive? Probably. Will he kick the crap out of Santos in round 2? Most likely. And then he will probably make the round 3 too competitive again if he doesn't knock him out. But yeah, not much to say. If this kid is going to win, I would just live bet him. It's just, I don't like playing dogs that their path is a decision, a close decision, right? So yeah, what does that say? Man, maybe I just force Kape in a parlay somewhere and it looks absolutely square. But yeah, this kid's going to take a beating, man. He's got 0 defense.
Yeah. So as far as Kape goes, because I see people playing Dos Santos, and the the method behind it is, Kape fought close and didn't throw anything against Pantoja and Nicolau. He doesn't throw volume. He's too passive and all this other shit. Which, true, against Pantoja in his debut, he didn't do enough, right? Fine. That's also fucking Pantoja, who beats most flyweights. He's very, I know it was years ago, right? He's a little older now. I mean, and then Nicolau, who I thought Kape won that fight, to be honest. But yeah, he didn't throw anything in round 1, and he was taken down. But since then, he's killed Ode, killed Zalgas, and basically killed David Dvorak, who I think is, a pretty good fighter. It's just the way that this kid has to fight to beat Kape is the worst way to have to fight to beat Kape, because he's going to have to put it on him and go to war with him pretty much. He's not going to win like a Pantoja or a Nicolau from the outside. And if he's trying to go to war with Kape, I think he's going to force Kape to actually throw. And that's where I think it goes poorly for him, because like you said, defense is not great. Kape, despite being at 125, clearly hits very hard. So yeah, I don't like the guy that has to put volume on one of the most explosive, powerful guys in the division, to win a decision, because he's not going to finish Kape. So yeah, it's probably square, and maybe Kape fucks around because he's been known to do so, but he really should win this fight. This is all right, so you don't lose your fight because everyone keeps pulling out against you. He's had 3 pullouts in a row. Here, fight, get some money, and then we're going to get you a top fight right after this. I think it's just a setup gimme. Really doubt this kid proves me wrong. Kape is legit good, and he's underrated still because of the the debut against Pantoja. So, yeah, if you parlay him, it probably wins, but I'm not rushing to do it.
No, me either. It's just, it's a perfect way for the dog to lose. Just this kid, the Homer Simpson method, right? But yeah, man, look what a couple of calf kicks did to Zalgas. He just broke him down and then just killed Zalgas. And Zalgas is actually durable, man.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah. I 100% agree with what you said. Like, pressuring Kape is a different kettle of fish. Yeah. You're essentially forcing the volume out of him and asking him to KO you. So, the best thing this kid can do is fight like the Dvorak, really negative, and hope that draws out a low output fight against Kape, and then he just squeaks a decision. Right?
But he's not going to do that.
You don't know. Maybe he's smart. I mean, we've seen debut fighters fight smart. Like, what you think is going to come out full shooter box against Kape in his debut?
I do, actually.
He's going to get sparked in 30 seconds then, if that's the case.
That's kind of how I feel.
He kind of seems scared at the weigh-ins as well, which makes me believe that, maybe the moment gets to him, and maybe he's like that Malaysia kids that we just saw on Contender Series.
Yeah.
Like he fights like shooter box, and that barking Brazilian put the fear of God in him, and he just fought extremely negative and just lost. Yeah, like, and you think from a 21-year-old kid that fights like that, you have no fear. But
this one's 22, so you might be right there. I wasn't really thinking about that.
The moment gets to them, man. The moment gets to them. But at some point, he's probably gonna like eat a couple calf kicks and go shoot the box, bitches, and just wake up
and then
staring at the ceiling. All right, co-main event. I have a take on this. Tuivasa, Alexander Volkov. I hate when people call Tuivasa a brawler. I feel like people that don't do tape or they can't actually cap a fight. This guy is quite technical. He will stay on the outside. A brawler doesn't stay on the outside calf kicking. He will stay on the outside. He will leg kick. He's really fleet-footed, and he will feint. He feints a lot. And yes, he will blitz in with overhooks, overhands, but it's all set up, right? It comes off feints. And he's one of the only guys other than JDS to hit Gan clean in his whole career, right? Even Ngannou didn't do it. And that's super impressive. And this is like a lower version of that fight. Like, there is no way the Gan is going to replicate, the Volkov is going to replicate what Gan did. And that was competitive, man. Round one, Gan essentially won the fight on 2-3 leg kicks, body kicks, right? He was scared to let go. And then round two, that's when Tai dropped him. And then Gan came out strong and started swinging. But again, it's big difference, man. We've seen what Gan did to Volkov, right? 5-0 easily. Kicked the crap out of him, right? I'll give Volkov props. He was durable. He took the beating. But essentially, this is going to be, Volkov is like a more plodding, flat-footed, slower version of Gan with worse defense, tall man defense. He's 34 years old. I think these guys are on the same level. I'm just watching my dog doesn't piss on my carpet. Right. These guys are on the same level, right? Any step up that Volkov has taken, he's been run through like Tai has, Pavlovich destroys Volkov. Gan destroyed him, right? Props to Volkov. Volkov didn't get finished, but I think Tai might be super susceptible to the body. I think that's why this line is where it's at.
Wait, what?
They're treating Tai like...
He didn't fight Pavlovich?
No, I'm saying Volkov would have ended the same way, yeah.
Okay.
And we've seen what happened to him with, Aspinall. I think they're on the same level, what I'm saying. And when he fought Greg Hardy, man, he just went to a boring decision. People are just treating... I think Volkov is underrated. He's got underrated power.
I think he carried Greg Hardy there, though.
He did, but he also didn't want to get knocked out after the Derek Lewis fight.
Sure.
So this is... Yeah, man. I mean, you look at his... I didn't want to go too far back on this fight, but I had to because I had this inkling. And I watched the Cyril Gane fight, and then I watched the Tabura fight. And Tabura is a chinny guy that had no grappling success, and he had a competitive 29-28 against Volkov. Right? If Tabura can do it, why can't Tai do it? Who's actually got way more durability than Tabura, and his back's against the wall, and he's got way more power. And yeah, you're telling me that you people pick Volkov at worse than -200 against Tai in his hometown. Sydney's his hometown, not just Australia, but Sydney. And his back's against the wall, and he's saying that he knows he needs to win, and there's no messing around. There's no hugging like he hugs everyone else. So I don't know, man. I haven't pulled the trigger. I get it. I respect Volkov. He's the more technical fighter. He's going to teep that gut. But if you don't see this fight being extremely competitive at range, the way gone Tuivasa was in round 1 and 2, and then he countered him. He countered him clean. Yeah, you just don't know. It's going to be competitive. At any point, Ty's just going to unload, and Volkov is going to be there because he doesn't have good footwork or good defense. He's going to be there when Ty blitzes with his overhands. So, man, even when that knocks out Derek Lewis cold, he's live in this spot. Yeah.
I'm not sure Derek Lewis was out cold there. Are you seeing the conspiracies?
Dude, he fucking face planted, man.
Your knee doesn't go down like that.
No, I haven't seen any of that. I'm sure it's some rubbish from Twitter, like usual.
Yeah. Initially, I locked in on 365 Volkov minus 200 because I was pretty confident it would move. Don't feel great about it. I don't think it's something I'm going to keep as a position. The only issue, like I agree with what you're saying about Ty, and sure, if we look at like Volkov going to a decision with Tibura, fine. But he does have a very nasty teep to the stomach, and Ty is legitimately an alcoholic, and he gets hurt to the body pretty easily for a dude that's fat. They tend to take them better with all the extra padding. He doesn't. I think a few kicks right up the middle, Ty could look like he's in big trouble. But the more I think about it, it is volatile. It's heavyweight. I don't want to have a position on Volkov, at juice. If anything, I've kind of pivoted into thinking maybe I should play an over 1.5 here. I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do. I think if Volkov's not hitting him in the liver, that this goes over. I don't think Ty's going to come out swing like you said. He doesn't really do that. He does blitz, but leg kicks at range, and Volkov is going to be able to keep him at range too. Long ass legs, huge length. We might see mostly tepid kickboxing on the outside with the odd blitz from Ty. And Volkov is very durable. I know Lewis got him late when he was gassed. It is what it is. But yeah, the more I think about it, I'm not really confident in anything. I get the Ty love, but yeah, no. I have my money on Volkov, but I'm going to cash it out. I'm not interested. I don't know, fellas. Maybe someone will sway me into something, but I think this is one I got to stay away from. Historically, I'm also bad at heavyweight, so I'm trying to minimize my exposure.
That's a smart thing to do, man. I personally, I'll consider that over 1.5, but it's just like I feel like it's lined accurately at pick'em because Ty just does nothing and then he just explodes. And someone here said, CK, Tuivasa looked good against Gane in Paris. Only path for Volkov is wrestling and cage pushing. Well, see, the thing is, Ty is the one that cage pushes because he's a really good clinch striker.
Yeah, he did it to Lewis. Well, Lewis came out doing it to him, but he reciprocated.
Yeah, and that's how he knocked out Sakai. It was like a low output striking battle in distance, and then he started cage pushing Sakai, and then he just off the break just knocked him out. And Stefan Struve. I was like, why is he clinching Struve so much? Like, Struve has got the grappling advantage here. He's going to judo. I could just see a judo toss, like the Lima fight, and then an instant das. And I think I might have bet Struve because that was when he was like on a 3-fight losing streak. And I was like, dude, why is he doing this? He's giving Struve the fight that he wants, and then he just knocked him out with the dirty boxing. So that's we've seen Tybura do that a bit to Volkov. He's got the parts here, man. Like he doesn't have to stay out on the range and get teep kicked. Like he can just spend so much time against the cage. Cage pushing him. And Volkov, another thing that's not being said, the guy has horrendous cardio. And I think Ty could actually, honestly, stay out on range for 3 rounds and look better, like light on his feet. Round 3 against Gane, man. That was round 2 was when he took a beating to the liver and came out in round 3. He was still bouncing. He's dangerous when you hurt him. Yeah.
Honestly, the more I think about it, I'm talking myself into a play on Tuivasa, to be honest.
I think he'll get steamed some more, and then we can jump in like last minute.
But yeah, like plus 200. I like Ty. Like, don't get me wrong. I've played him in several. I played him against Sakai, against Hardy. I even played him against Pavlovich. To be honest, that one didn't look good. Well, I played KO at like a wide price, not money line, but obviously that didn't work out. Yeah, I don't know. The more I think about it and how I think the fight's going, he has to be the betting side for me. So yeah. That's it. I locked in a line I thought would move. It did, but I'm off it. I'm always good to pivot. Well, then Ty's the side. Yeah, you're right, brother. I'm talking it out live, but yeah, you are right. He's the side at plus 200 at heavyweight.
He's the side, bro.
If it gets there, I'm gonna play it. So
it's in fucking Sydney, man. Like they're literally they're comparing Ty to bloody Walt Harris, man. He's not Walt Harris. He's better than Walt Harris.
Walt Harris has 3 minutes of cardio. I mean, he's dangerous for 3 minutes, but then it's finito. I mean,
I think it's that Jairzinho Rosenstruck. That Rosenstruck fight was impressive, but it was also a meme in my opinion. But everything else, Walt Harris washed over him, Tabura, and Romanov. Like you can't have any stakes in those fights. Like it's nothing. It's just took him 3 rounds to knock out Stefan Struve. He was dropped by Timothy Johnson. He was knocked out by It's just no brainer. I'm playing this. We'll just wait and see how the line plays out.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've fully accepted the pivot.
Nice pivot. Alrighty. Speaking of pivots, Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Man, I'm loving Strickland. I love how the Australian crowd has taken to him. I love how on Twitter he wants a Crocodile Dundee hat, and someone brought it to him, and he had it for the press conference. And I was just ripping into Izzy, and he's bringing out the stuff that Australian government did with COVID, and then the media,
the pregnant lady, right?
Yeah. I'm like, how does this guy know this? He lives in America, but he's like keeping up with the Australian news, and the media is just like, oh, I don't think that happened. I think you're talking about Russia, like trying to fucking sweep it under the rug.
No, we didn't have COVID camps. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and then Sean's like, nah, bro, this happened. You didn't watch the news, and I just love it. It's so random. He's just coming out there to cause chaos, and just that's why the media still shits on MMA here. Like they can't control like MMA fighters. And it's funny because Izzy does the same thing, but no one cares about him because he's so cringe. I don't want to talk too much about this fight. What is there to say, man? I just the big disrespect on Sean Strickland.
Yeah,
everyone is really, really confident that Izzy's going to run through him with a KO. I don't know why. Because he knocked out a chinny Pereira, like the cut's like 40 pounds.
Or because Pereira with a left hand of diamond killed Strickland. It's not comparable.
That is why Strickland has a ungodly chin. He took that left hand
and wasn't unconscious.
On the button, no guard. He was like this. He's like, knock me out, son. He landed back on his hand like the jiu-jitsu get up. He landed back like a cat and stood up. And as he stood up, he had another clean right. And even then, he wasn't out. He wasn't out cold.
He got followed up on again.
He got up and started like wobbling around, dude. Like we've seen other people just take that first left hand on the guard and be dead.
Flatlined. It's crazy.
LFA, Adesanya with the kickboxing gloves needed bloody oxygen mask. Like, yeah, sure. I could see maybe something like the Paulo Costa meme, behind the ear head kick and then finishes him off in mount. But I also can't, right? So I'm scared to play the overs. Traditionally, I played the overs and pay-per-views and got absolutely steamed. Like I got destroyed. Especially when I go up against the casual audience that are like, oh, Adesanya round 1 KO. Like when the hell has that happened? Like he couldn't even KO Cannonier, who I personally think is more chinny. We've seen Strickland
and Sean, 100%.
He wobbled Cannonier multiple times in the 5-rounder, and Izzy couldn't because he was just jab and straight and leg kick. But I get it. Cannonier had a lot of power coming back, so Izzy fights safe. It was the same as against Romero. He had one big overhand against Romero, and
that is he shut down. Well, he came out aggressive, right?
Yeah, and he kept blinking
counter,
he kept blinking out his eye. Yeah, he kept blinking. He's like, nah, I don't want to get knocked out here. I get it, and Strickland doesn't have that. So maybe he's a little bit more, open. Maybe he's a bit more willing to knock him out.
Well, that's the issue with overs because he doesn't have to respect the power in the hands coming back. Strickland.
Exactly. But he should, man, because I think Strickland has underrated power, dude. Strickland definitely has underrated power.
I don't know. Cannonier
he does, man. He does. You can see that he has heavy hands. He's like the way he was cracking Uriah Hall, and Uriah Hall wanted to quit in there, like round 2. The way he knocked out Brendan Allen, he's got underrated. Like he wobbled Cannonier, like you can see it, dude. You can see it. Obviously, Abus Magomedov was like
that was cardio.
Yeah, it was like a flaky quit job, but you can see it, man. Like he throws down, but it's just, is he gonna hit Izzy with anything? But it's definitely, now that people are steaming the under, I'm just waiting, and maybe I can say fuck it and play the over, and if it loses, it loses. You know, I'm already on tilt after Contender Series. So what's the worst that could happen? But yeah, and this guy here, John Martin, saying Izzy might cook Strickland's leg. Strickland's actually really good at checking leg kicks.
Yeah,
you can see that in the Uriah Hall. He's good at lifting his leg, and people say he's heavy on his front leg. He's not at all. He's actually heavy on his back leg. That's why
his back leg is fucked up from injuries. He said like he can't really move his back leg, but his front leg is good. So he's actually, like you said, he's fine with his front leg, thank God. The back leg's way out of reach, so he doesn't have to worry about that. I don't think he's going to cook him like he did Paulo Costa with the leg kicks. That seems low percentage to me.
Yeah, Paulo Costa came in with a horrible game plan. Like, it makes sense now because he was drinking wine. But Strickland doesn't do that. Strickland, he might pressure, but he's just when it's a high-level fight, he kind of shuts down himself, right? He comes in there and he's he becomes a jab leg kick merchant, and he's really good on the defense, right? He's just backing out and he's making sure he's parrying everything early. I can't see this not being a boring fight for at least 3 rounds. But yeah, I don't want to look too much into it because why am I going to look? The only reason I'm going to look into it is because the overs, and I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, well, if I'm going to play overs, I would rather just play GTD. I think once it gets past a little bit, Strickland shuts down and tends to, like, if he's going to lose, he's going to try to just survive. He does have probably the best parry game in the UFC.
He's got some of the best defensive statistics in the UFC at middleweight.
He doesn't get hit clean. He rolls with punches. He parries 90% of them. He's very, very good at not getting hit to the head. Yeah, Alex got him. So what? It happens. But I also don't think he can get in range and box Izzy up. So we're going to see some shitty outside kickboxing nonsense. Maybe Izzy comes out aggressive because Sean said he jerked off his dog, right? It's guesswork. But I think it does go to the distance a large percentage. So I'll wait, let the unders get steamed, and that might be a play depending on where the line ends up.
I mean, I would rather play the 4.5 because I get it. Most of the time, you're not going to see anything in the last 2.5 minutes, but because the people have steamed the under, it's already plus money. So it's just like plus money. I'll just play that. But I'm looking at like alternative 2.5, just way too juiced. Maybe 3.5. Maybe play a little bit safe.
Well, I would feel the finish would come earlier, if anything. So I don't want to, play 2.5 when I think the majority of the finish equity is in the first 2 rounds, right? I think after that it really settles down, and then you might as well just buy up the rest of the rounds, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. That makes sense. But yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Yeah, you don't have any same game parlays on this?
No, nothing value. But when the fight is like this, it's the lines are so crazy. Listen, I guess you could bet Strickland money line and just be like, well, it'll be a slightly competitive kickboxing match, but I don't have interest in this fight, dude. Izzy is cringe.
Izzy and 1.5 is like, he gets close to minus 200. He gets it close. Or Izzy and 2.5 gets it close. Oh, it's definitely over minus 200.
No, Izzy 1.5 plus Izzy plus over 1.5 is minus 250. And like I said, I don't want to play that because I think finish is early, right?
All right, I get you.
So I just don't find the value there.
You've been burned before on those the 1.5s, and the finish happens early.
Not too often. Like I'm pretty good at navigating them, but yeah, it depends on the fighter. But generally, a lot of finish equity is front loaded for most fighters, unless they're very much a cardio beast. So you got to be selective with them. But I'm not playing that in the Izzy one at all.
Fair. Understandable. Alrighty, I'm going to quickly go over this and we'll just call it a day, my friend. Maybe think of your best bets. I'm definitely going to take a poke in Crosbie round 1. Miranda, Shane Young, probably nothing. nothing on the diamond. Nasrat, nothing. John Makdessi, Mullarkey, nothing. I'm considering Jenkins juice. I might do that. Carlos Ulberg, I'm considering the under 1.5. Already played Turkalj. Tafa, nothing. Might play the round one if I'm just feeling frisky. Kape, maybe a parlay piece. Ty, I'm really considering, and I'm considering the over in Adesanya. Best bets, don't want to give out anything, honestly. It's just, my best bets are locks, and I don't want someone to tell my best bet here. So, yeah, it's one of those cards. It's been shit for a while. I know I sound pretty depressed, but yep, I'm going to focus on regionals. There's some. We got Cage Warriors props, so I'm excited to look into that. But yeah, it's Chad's turn, and he just fucked off. That's cool. I guess he's pouring himself a drink. What do we got here? Quothy MMA. Go the distance is good here. Tempted by his decision, given I don't think UFC lets their stars lose decisions. I mean, it's tough to see Strickland win a decision. I get it. That's what everyone's talking about. I mean, he could do it if he fights a Uriah Hall, but Izzy's not Uriah Hall. Let's be real. The UFC wants Izzy to win this. Yeah, I mean, here's their star, even though it's fringe. Izzy TKO, Dr. Stoppage. Yeah, maybe. What's your best bet, son?
Sorry, I was holding that piss for a while now. Yeah, well, fuck. Best bet has to be still an available line. I like my Turkalj one a lot. What else do I got?
Traditionally, when me and my guests line up, it usually hits. So maybe I will give out that as the best bet. Let's go.
I really do think even at, I think you can still get him at evens, right?
You can.
I just think, like I said, the guy that I probably cap at 90% to win round 3, if it gets there, against the guy that I don't trust his cardio, I don't trust his heart. Yeah, fuck him. Turk is going to cook him. Let's go. I also like my Jenkins plus over 1.5 at minus 105. That's good too. Anything else? Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave it at that.
Man. It seems like we both line up on Jenkins and Turkalj. So yeah, if you want to tail us on that on two best bets, they usually 90% of the time they hit, no matter who my guest is. If we line up on the two bets, yeah, that's it. Alrighty, thanks for doing that with me, man. It's been a while. Been trying to get you on for a minute.
I know, and I come back on for this shit one.
This man doesn't want to come on a podcast unless he has a million bets, which, if it was his doing, he would never be back on because these cards have been trash.
That's the problem. No, I'm going to be on again before the end of the year. We'll find a good card.
Yeah, that's good to know, bro. I can expect you one more time in the next 3 months.
No, or maybe we can do it before that. But we'll do. We should do another drinking one with one or two other guests. Have a good one. Have a nice fun. The people liked it. They want it.
Yeah, it's just tough for me when I'm drunk at before noon on the day where I got training and stuff.
It's for job. It's your job. It's a write-off.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, look, it's going to take a special card. We'll do it.
Sure.
Might make things fun. But yeah, other than that, I think everyone knows about you. I don't know. Do you want to plug something?
Nah, I got nothing to plug, fellas. Actually, I do. Big Steve's Discord. You can join for free. If you want the bets, you sign up and pay for it. But it's good either way. Get in there, feel the vibes, and maybe give this guy some money if you want to make some money. That's all.
Oh, it's nice of you, right? I don't have to plug it myself. But yeah, it's just a good network, man. A lot of sharp people in there. I actually like spending time in there now. I finally made a Discord where I don't hate half the people, or they're not booting me out.
No, and the vibe is chill. I actually find it's mostly Euros and Aussies, Anzacs. It's not too many Americans. It's the Americans that fuck up these Discords, I think.
No, I think majority is still Americans.
Are they? I feel like everyone that talks regularly is from Europe.
Conan, you, NTT. You're a Canadian. Fuck.
I'm Canadian. You got multiple people from Denmark or England.
Yeah, that's good. Pierce is American. You can count D-Bang as American.
The Bang is an AI. He doesn't have an origin. Oh
American.
yeah, Pierce is American, but he ruins the Discord. So
He does. You're right. He does. He brings bloody Olivas' fucking cringe antics in there.
and he tells Olivas what we say. Crazy.
That's right. He's a young kid. He'll learn. He'll learn. If you're a young kid and you like adults, just jump in there and we'll groom you. We'll groom you into
Call us Pat Barry.
we'll groom you into a proper gambler and an alcoholic if you tail Chad.
That is true.
All right. How can you not pay for that? All right. Thanks, man. I'm gonna get out of here and enjoy the rest of my day sober. Good luck with your bets.
Thank you. You too. Cheers.